Welcome back to Album Review.
What's up?
This week we are looking at the new JPEGMAFIA album. I forget the name off the top of my head.
It's called I Lay Down My Life For You.
That's it.
It's from this year. I don't really have much background for him because this is the first album I've listened to by him.
Same here. I really don't have much, if anything at all, honestly.
Yeah, just that I pretty much only ever heard good things about him, and I've had him on my list for a while, so I was really excited.
Me too. He's been on my list for a little bit now. I forget who originally suggested him, but I've been wanting to check his stuff out for a while now. I knew this album came out, but I didn't know much about it. So, I guess we could just hop right into it because I really don't have much else to add.
Sounds good. So the first track is called I Scream This in the Mirror Before I Interact with Anyone.
What a title off the bat. I think it's a really good opening track, though.
Definitely. Super energetic right at the beginning.
A lot of energy in this album, and a lot of, electric guitars, which I'm pretty sure he did himself.
Really?
Because I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he plays guitar. So I think a lot of the guitar work was probably done by him or a few outside people.
And I know he's really known for his production and how he basically does the production on most of his own music himself.
Oh, the production is fantastic on this album, too.
There's a lot of switch-ups on all these songs. He keeps it very interesting the whole time.
Yeah. Keeps you guessing.
Definitely. Yeah, this one even had, some dubstep sounding parts to it.
A lot of electronic beats in here too. It's a very unconventional album, which sets it out for a lot from the other ones. It's very different.
Yeah, and he has some funny lyrics on his stuff too. Sometimes, on this first song, he makes a lot of different sports references.
Yeah,
and he starts the album out by saying, "If I was an NBA player, I'd be Dylan Brooks, but worse," which is funny because Dylan Brooks is just known for being a menace, basically, on the field or on the court. But the next track is called Sin Maido. I don't really know.
This is another one of my favorites.
This one was really cool.
Another really upbeat, heavy one.
Yeah, a lot of blown out percussion on this one. Yeah, more unpredictable stuff, really showing off his production skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely a good one to me. He's spitting bars on there too.
Yeah, I agree.
Next one is I'll Be Right There. This one's a little more chill than the first two.
It's another one I actually really like, too.
Yeah, I think the percussion sounds he uses on all these songs are just really good. He uses a lot of, open snares, and, a lot of the tracks he uses, really heavy 808s in it, too.
Yeah, for sure.
This song was a really cool sound. The next track is, for some reason, not listed on the album on Spotify.
Yeah, I was gonna research why that was. I didn't though.
Not sure, but it's called It's Dark and Hell is Hot, which I'm sure is a reference to the album by DMX by the same name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was his first or second album, too.
Okay.
Which, by the way, fantastic album. But this song is probably my least favorite on the album.
Probably same. It's very unorthodox and it
has a lot of Brazilian influence in it too, which is interesting.
Yeah, I guess it felt out of place with the rest of the songs on the album.
I'd say so.
But I guess it's just because we're probably not very used to Brazilian funk, so maybe we didn't vibe with it.
That is true. I'm not saying I know much, I know very little about the genre, so maybe it's just an outsider's perspective on it.
Yeah, I really just didn't like the parts with the Brazilian whoever. I don't know if it was a feature or if he was just sampling a song.
Yeah.
But those parts of the song didn't sound great to me, but then his verses, he still was really impressive on it.
Yeah.
Honestly. The next track is New Black History featuring Vince Staples.
I like the first half of this song, but again, it's probably another one of my least favorites on the album.
Yeah, it's one of the weaker tracks, I'd say. It starts out with Vince Staples' verse, and he sounds good on it.
Yeah. He's another artist I really don't know much about, but I like everything I've heard from him so far.
Yeah. But yeah, more just heavy drums on this one, a lot of bass. It even had, the outro had some kind of distorted drums with a R2D2 sounding thing.
Yeah, that shit was just weird.
It was weird.
What the hell was going on?
But the next track is Don't Rely on Other Men.
I like this one.
This one was pretty abstract again. I did like this one overall. I didn't love the part where it kept saying, I hear you went down, 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 down. And then it just kind of, kept hitting when it said down, which I guess is kind of interesting. Like maybe because he was on the downbeat when it was saying
Yeah, this is another one on my first listen I didn't care for as much, but I like it more on my most recent listen of it.
Yeah, it had really cool parts on it. A lot more electric guitar with some synths like layered over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was honestly a good song overall though. The next track is another reference to other music. It's Vulgar Display of Power.
Named after Pantera's second studio album. Another fantastic album, by the way. And this is another really good song overall. It has nothing to do with the title of the album itself.
Not really, but I think he definitely was. This was one of the more rock sounding songs on the album.
Yeah, like the guitars in it were very good.
Yeah, it had a real aggressive sound to it, but it was very good, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Ex-Military.
This might be my favorite off the album.
This song was really good.
It's a nice chill one. It uses the same sample that Wu-Tang Clan used for Tears, which I thought was a really cool notice.
Yeah.
From myself, at least. I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't recognize this.
Yeah, this song was a little bit more stripped down compared to some of the other songs on the album, because it was a little more focused on the sample, I'd say.
That's true.
But he sounded great on it. Great flow, and more great percussion on it.
Mm-hmm.
He even had some, like, punky sounding, like, grunts towards the end that he was doing.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
This album really does borrow a lot from, like, the rock world, but it doesn't, like, overindulge in it and become an almost, like, rock-ish album.
Yeah, a lot of times when rap artists try to do a rock kind of thing, it just ends up sounding kind of corny in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that at all. With
There's
this
very few, like, albums I've heard. Like, Lil Yachty's one does it pretty well, but that's more on the rock side than this is.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought this was a really good song. It was one of the longer tracks, but I didn't think it was longer than it needed to be. It really took you for a ride.
The longest tracks, like, are still really good, and they handle the length very well.
Yeah.
Wink. I didn't realize how that sounded until I said it.
The next track is Jihad Joe.
This is another one of my favorites. This one is really fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, it was super groovy at the beginning, and then it got like a lot more heavy with the electric guitars again at the end. And I like how he switches up his tone of voice a lot on these songs too.
Yeah, again, it keeps you guessing.
Yeah, because he sounds really good when he's just kind of like not that much energy behind his voice, just like chill rapping on the beat. But then you know he's always gonna switch it up, and he brings out a more aggressive tone. And I thought it was a really good song.
Very good.
The next track is JPEG Ultra featuring Denzel Curry.
This is another one I really liked.
This one was cool. Denzel Curry starts it out kind of just yapping over the beat a lot.
Yeah, it seems like that.
He yaps, and then he has a pretty brief verse that sounds really good, and then he does a little more yapping, and then it gets to JPEG's part. But I thought they both sounded really good on this album. I mean, on this song. Yeah, just a lot more switch-ups again. I think that's probably one of his strongest attributes, that he really shows you he's got a lot of material to work with. He knows what he's doing when he's producing.
Definitely.
It's not like some people just make a good beat and just ride that beat for the whole song. It's like he's got so many different
There's
beats
a lot
going
of
in here.
those, but yeah, he definitely has a good balance between the two.
Yeah. The next track is... This is the first song I listened to, because I forget why, but I just listened to this song randomly one day, and it's what made me want to listen to the album.
I think it was also one of the hits off the album.
I think it was, yeah. It was called Either On or Off the Drugs.
That's another really mellow but really good one, too.
Very good. It might be my favorite on the album, but it does kind of stand out from the rest of the songs on the album, too.
It is very different. I guess that was probably released as like the first single, if anything.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But sounded great. A lot more chill electric guitar, and then towards the very end of the song, he kicks up the energy for like the last few bars, and it sounds really cool. Next track is Loop It and Leave It.
I like the name of this one.
Yeah, this one's pretty true to its name. It's probably the simplest sounding song on the album, because it's mostly the same loop throughout.
Yeah.
But it's a shorter track, and his verses sound really good on it, so...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like the tempo stays exactly the same with like very few breaks in between too. So
yeah,
the loop it could probably allude to that in a way.
Yeah, I feel like he deserved one track where he wasn't just switching up and going all over the place, and it still sounded really good. The next track, it's called "Don't Put Anything on the Bible," featuring Buzzy Lee. which I had to Google who Buzzy Lee was.
Yeah, I had no idea until you told me.
Found out it's the daughter of Steven Spielberg, Sasha Spielberg. Never heard of her, but I mean, she had a cool voice.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, but I feel like it felt like two separate parts of this song.
Yeah, this one was a kind of a weird song compared to the rest of them. Like, it wasn't structured the best.
Yeah, like, almost the entire first half of the song is her singing, and then basically the rest of the song is him rapping, which I didn't think it sounded bad, but it probably wasn't one of my more favorites on the album.
Yeah, it's better than the song I'm glad to refer to, but there's a song off of Eminem's Revival who has Pink on it. It's very similar to this, where she's, like, in most of the song, and then he's not even on the song till, like, the end. This kind of gives that vibe. I like this song better, obviously, but I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah. It's just another switch up, kind of, getting towards the last part of the album.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was bad, but...
No, I didn't think it was bad.
Not one of the more crazy tracks on the album.
Yeah.
Now we're to the final track, called I Recovered From This.
Another, like, really slow one to kind of, like, just ease out the album with. I noticed, like, he put all of his energy into, like, the first half mainly, with a few other ones sprinkled in between.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how a lot of albums end up being structured. I feel like the more, like, slower songs end up being on the second half.
Yeah, which we've talked about this many times on album review over the years. Like, we want the aggressive and fast-paced stuff to come first. We want you to come out swinging.
Yeah, hook us in right from the beginning.
And I think this album does a great job of that overall.
For sure. Yeah, this song, the last song, didn't really have any percussion on it. It
Yeah.
was really just him rapping on, like, a chill, I think it was acoustic guitar on this last song.
Yeah.
But cool song, good finish to the album. And yeah, that's the 14 tracks.
Yeah. Want to give final thoughts?
It was a very good first experience listening to him.
For sure.
Definitely makes me want to check out the rest of his music because he knows what he's doing, and I haven't heard any production like his in a while, so...
Yeah. It's a very unique experience, like, compared to most rappers these days. And, again, my first time really listening to him, too, and I thought it was fantastic. Like,
yeah,
I could definitely see this being a contender for somebody's album of the year eventually, like, if we do that this year, but... I would definitely recommend this album, and I'm probably going to go check out his other stuff, because, like you said, I've heard nothing but good things about JPEG, and he's one of those rappers that kind of goes under the radar compared to, like, other rappers these days, but
yeah,
he still gets his flowers, and I think it's very much deserved.
He's, like, on the slightly mainstream side of underground rap, I feel like. Like, he's one of the more well-known underground rappers.
Yeah, he's kind of like the modern-day MF Doom in a way. Like, he's not a mainstream rapper, but he's got some popular shit out there.
Yeah. But I thought it was a great listen, and I didn't really have too many specific complaints. There weren't any songs that I thought were downright bad.
Yeah, me too.
So, I really enjoyed it.
There's a few that I just personally didn't care for, but
yeah,
they were still good, like, decent enough.
still had their moments in there.
Yeah. Shall we go to scores?
Sure. I might have to give it a 9.
Ooh.
Because I don't see anything bad with it. Like, the album length is not brief, but it's like 40-something minutes, so it's an easy listen.
Very easy.
You never are like, is this thing almost over? Because it's very engaging. Your mind has to follow along the whole time with the beat switches and the crazy different tones he uses. It sounded really cool overall.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. So, like, almost a 9, because there's, like, a couple songs that are just personally not for me, but the production was fantastic on most of the album, and I'm glad you suggested it, because I never really listened to him before, and I don't know when I would have.
Me too. I was always just telling myself that I would at some point, and then when I heard this one song, I was like, I'm just gonna do it now and force myself to listen to it with everyone else. So it was cool picking an album that I also had never listened to.
Yeah, which I do sometimes, but it's usually stuff that I've at least heard a couple times.
Yeah.
But, like, Billy Joel's album was something I'd only listened to, like, once, and maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's very cool to listen to stuff that even you don't know about and being genuinely surprised by it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Okay, so before I pick this week's album, or next week's album, so this is the third year we're doing this. The Philly Specials have released yet another Christmas album, so I think it's time we look at that one. It's been about a week or so since it came out, so we're going to get all the Eagles fans and maybe the non-Eagles fans together to come listen to this one, because the last two, very positive reviews for the most part.
Yep, and it's that time again. Now that we're past Thanksgiving, might as well give it a listen. So.
Yeah, get into the spirit of Christmas.
Yep.
But the week after that, we're gonna do the album that I'm picking right now, and it might be a little spoiler alert. This might be the artist I end up doing very soon. It's an album that everybody knows and most people like, and it's probably his best album, and we're sticking with rap. We're doing Take Care.
Oh man.
Like, it's just about time we do a Drake album. I mean, we've done enough of the other big artists. I think it's time we look at probably the best Drake album.
I like this album, so I'm excited for that.
This is one I have listened to a few times. Spoiler alert for that, too.
Yeah, it's been out for, 12 years now or
Something like that. So I think everyone's had time to listen to it at least once.
Yeah.
But next week, get ready for the Christmas spirit.
Hell yeah.